Hey, have you ever been in a place where you needed to forgive somebody that you didn't think deserved forgiveness, but you're also a Christian, right? What does that look like? I'm going to share a little bit of what I've learned as a Christian and about forgiveness. And it's probably not going to resonate with everybody. And there will be people that disagree with me, and that's okay. We all have different, but I'm going to speak what I truly believe that God has shown me in my life and I see in other women. So as a Christian, we are to forgive. We are to forgive. We might not want to sometimes, right? And we don't even know if it's possible, some of the stuff that has happened to us, if we can forgive somebody else. Now, we're not talking just today about like little things, like somebody accidentally did something, or somebody hurt your feelings, or somebody didn't follow through. We're not talking about little things. Those things we definitely need to forgive. And you know what? The hardest thing is to forgive somebody we don't want to. But for your sake, you have to. But this is where the controversy, and it's not going to resonate with everybody, comes in. Forgiveness does not mean staying. If someone is continually hurting you, beating you down emotionally, physically, whatever that looks like, if somebody is promising you things that they will never do again, that they'll never, maybe it's drinking, maybe it's abuse, maybe it's pathological cheating and lying, maybe it's I'm going to do this but I'm not. It's not like, hey honey, I'm going to put the dishes away tomorrow, I promise I will. Yes, we need to forgive that. We need to forgive even the horrible things. But you guys, let's just be clear. Nowhere in the Bible does God say when somebody is intentionally being abusive to you, cruel to you, hurting you intentionally behind your back or physically, nowhere does it say in the Bible that you need to stay. God wants amazing things for you as a woman, as a wife, as a girlfriend, as a fiance. He does not want you to be in a relationship where you are getting hurt continually and intentionally by somebody. I'm going to share a little of my story as a Christian and walking through this. As a Christian, are you sitting in church? You go to church, right? You have belief, you're growing a relationship with God, and maybe in the beginning that, somebody's hurting you, but they promise not to do it again. They promise that they're not doing the thing anymore. Maybe it's drinking, they're not doing the drugs, or they're not having sex with other people, but they are out there doing those things, right? You don't know about it because they're hiding it. Or if they're hitting you or verbally abusing you, you do know that. And they've probably beaten you down physically or emotionally so much. And you know what? The people that are hiding things behind your back, they're also beating you down emotionally, spiritually, not physically, but we could sit here and debate what's worse. It's all terrible. But here's the thing, when you're a new Christian and you're in love, we'll just say, maybe you've had to disconnect from some family. It could be that, because people keep promising things, or maybe you have a kid that is struggling with addiction, and while you want to be there, you also have to set boundaries. You can forgive anything almost. I'm pretty sure you can forgive everything once you become a really strong Christian, but you can't do it alone. It has to be through God. He has to give you that strength. But when you're a newer Christian, or you're in a marriage or relationship with someone that you're in love with, whether it's family, a husband, a fiance, a long-term boyfriend, whatever that looks like, you sometimes get in your own, like, you don't even see what's happening because you're so caught up with loving someone, right? Because remember, you're a Christian woman, you're a strong woman, and a middle woman. So part of commitment is forgiveness, right? And it is absolutely hands down every day. We have to forgive ourselves. We have to forgive the people in our life. But if you're sitting in church and you hear the verses and the pastor up there, he's talking, forgiveness, keep forgiving, forgive 70 times, 7 times, and forgive like I have forgiven you, so that I will continue to forgive you. Because if you're not forgiving somebody, you hear all these things in church, right? And there is so much truth to that, you guys. There's absolute 100% truth to that. It is scriptural. I will not debate with that. But nowhere in the Bible does it say to continue to be a doormat for somebody, to continue to stay in a relationship, or to not set a boundary with someone that is intentionally hurting you over and over and over again. No matter what they promise you, I'll change, I won't do it again, I'm not talking to that person, we're not screwing around, I promise I won't drink again, I don't do drugs, but they're hiding all these things, right? Or maybe it's somebody at work and they're gonna follow through and they're not following through. That is just a boundary. That's not a boundary where you have to completely detach from that person. But sometimes there are times when we have to completely detach from the toxicity and the hurt that somebody else is causing us, right? Get away from that. God is your Father. He does not want you to be, and that's also in scripture, he wants peace and joy and love. And you know what? You're sitting in church as a new Christian. You're sitting in church as someone who loves somebody. And they're talking about love being unconditional. Love is patient. Love is kind. We hear this. And you're like, yeah, I can do this. It's okay. They've changed. They seemingly changed. Like, yeah, I don't see any more signs of it. And there might not be for a long time. But I have found, and I talked to so many women as a wellness coach and as a friend and mentor, that people who are hiding things are more manipulative or more discreet. I won't say better because that gives them some kind of a toot their horn. And let's just be honest, those people are toxic. You need to get away from them. If they are hurting you, if they are putting their hands on you in a way that you are not allowing or that you do not want in any situation, that person and that situation needs to really be evaluated. If they're not willing to go to counseling, if they're not changing their behavior, they're saying they're changing, they're saying they're not hiding their girlfriends online, they're saying they're not hiding all of that stuff. Don't believe a damn thing that people say unless they are actually showing that. When you see somebody's truth, when they show you who they are and they continue to show you who they are, and it's malicious and cruel and mean and violent or emotionally, mentally abusive to you, no, you guys, that is not what God wants for us as Christians for our life. Now, I am not suggesting you walk away from a relationship unless you know that that is what God needs you to do and wants you to do. But God does not want us as daughters of the King to stay in relationships or in relation with somebody that is not equally yoked. And if that's a family member, if that's the love of your life, you speak about the love of your life. The love could be your husband, your fiance, your boyfriend, and they are the love of your life. But I would ask, they might be yours and they might claim to be yours, vice versa. But if they're not treating you with respect, loyalty, and honesty, I would say that You're not the love of their life. They're the love of their own life, period. Because that's all they care about. So you guys, I'm not sharing my story, and I don't want anybody here to share your story, but if you need to get out of a toxic situation and stop just letting somebody walk all over you, and I know there are situations it's hard to get away, but it's not impossible. Find help. Go to resources that you need if you're in an abusive situation or somebody is threatening you. Go do what you need to do. And if you're with someone that continually hurts you emotionally with betrayal and lies and drinking all the time and drugs all the time, or staying out and doing all the things that are disrespectful in a relationship, you guys, get out of it. Just get out. It hurts like a motherfucker. Sorry, pardon my French. It hurts when you're in love with somebody, but if they're hurting you all the time, or, okay, here again, don't play naive. They can be so sweet and put this persona of who they are, and you don't even know who they are. But when they show themselves more than once, I mean, you can forgive as many times as you want, but it doesn't mean you have to stay. And you can stay. You can absolutely stay. If that is your choice, if you find out things behind your back constantly and you stay, you can stay. I have a feeling you probably won't feel peace in your life. You will never trust that person ever again. You try. They show you that they're doing good, and then they freaking pull the rug right out from under your feet again. So be careful who you talk with and stay with. I mean, don't share your story with just anybody, but get the help you need. Forgiving doesn't mean staying, but we have to forgive for ourselves, to release and to heal, and also for that person. Because when those people are doing those things, and this is another thing as a Christian, you might be sitting in church and you're thinking, something is wrong with them. It'll get better. He's never going to lay his hands on me in a way that I don't want him to again. And he might convince you of that. And he might be really good, or she might be staying away from whatever she's staying away from to protect the relationship. But when you see it again and again and again, your value of yourself is going to go right down the crapper. You won't even know it. You won't have a clue. You won't know that your self-esteem has taken a complete dump. You won't know that you're in a abusive, mentally, physically, emotionally relationship, but you kind of wash it over like it's going to get better. It'll be fine. Something's wrong with them. There's got to be something in their head that's like, because, and we make excuses then. We're like, oh, well, maybe they got a mental disorder, or maybe they had some abuse when they were kids and now they're abusive to us, and, they'll get better, or they're seeking counseling right now, or all of these stories we tell ourselves because we can't imagine doing those things. And we know we don't deserve it. Although I would question some of you ladies. Do you know that you don't deserve it? Do you actually know that you don't deserve to be treated like garbage? Do you know that you don't deserve to be treated with disrespect in any way? And if you are, you need to evaluate what it is that you're doing, why you're staying. If there's true forgiveness or repentance on their part, no hiding and no more of it. But let's be honest, I think that the only way, and this just isn't me, people do not change their behavior, their moral compass, until their heart changes. And they can't have a change of heart until their mindset changes, and then their heart will follow, and then their actions will follow. and it'll be repeated. But they have to come into a complete heart change. And if that hasn't happened, they're going to continue to do the things. You might have a gap of years where you don't see it, or they don't put their hands on you, but then all of a sudden, and you'll get knocked down, whatever that looks like for you, and they'll say they're sorry, they'll never do it again. But you guys, forgiveness, at that point, you can't even think about it because you just need to protect yourself. But be smart. Forgive for yourself, because it's toxic poison to not forgive. Forgive for that other person. And as a Christian, yep, you guessed it, pray for that person. That is the hardest thing to do, is to pray for somebody that maybe you want to be with still, maybe you love, maybe you hate because they have hurt you so bad. But you know what, you guys? Hate doesn't come unless there's love. Hate is there, or despise, or whatever you want to call it, is only there because the thing that you value the most has just gotten thrown at you, or punched in your gut, or knocked you down. The things that you value. You value honesty, loyalty, respect, kindness, and commitment. And if somebody's doing things behind the scenes and you don't know about it, that's tough. And that's why you start to despise somebody or hate somebody. But you can't do that for long. It's part of the phase. It's part of the healing. Moving forward. It's part of healing yourself, letting go, but also knowing your worth. Your worth is, it's all over in this book right here. This little book, big book with all the pages and the small writing, or the big writing if you're older, you want bigger print. You guys, it's in there. It talks about how beautiful and precious you are, and how you are a daughter of the King, and how much God loves you, and that He wants great things for you. That doesn't mean to be getting beat down. It doesn't mean allowing behavior to continue. You can't change somebody's behavior. You can't change somebody's heart. You can't change somebody's actions and the fact that they're taking their phone into the bathroom and hiding everything. You can't change the fact that people are going to hide liquor or drugs, and these are the people that you love the most in your life. You can't change any of that. But you can change where your boundaries are with those people. Stay away from things that make you feel awful, and stay away from people that hurt you and make you feel bad. Those aren't your people. There are great people out there. There are good men and good women and good kids. We just all make choices. But when it's continual action that is hurting you, we have to set a boundary. And if that boundary is a hard line, it has to be a hard line. And you know how you know? You know. You guys know. You might feel like you don't want to. You might feel like you can't. You don't want to leave somebody that you are in love with. Because it's the hardest thing in the world to do. Outside of maybe losing a child. I've never experienced that. I can't even imagine, but so many people do. But outside of that, being hurt by somebody that you are absolutely in love with and having to leave, it's the hardest thing you'll ever do in your whole life. It is the hardest thing you'll ever have to do. But there is strength in there. There is hope. There's peace. The hope doesn't come right away. The peace might, actually. If you're a strong Christian, like a lot of you ladies are, the peace might happen right away. Do you know why? Because God has been talking to you about getting out. God has been telling you that gut instinct that women have, those taps on your shoulder, the evidence that you see, but you're refusing to believe, or that somebody is trying to coerce you and thinking that they've changed, you believe it because you want to, because you love, because you're scared to leave, whatever that looks like. So ladies, take care of yourself. There is peace in separating yourself from toxicity. There is true peace in it. The joy won't come right away, but if you continue on your faith journey, growing yourself, strengthening your relationship with Jesus, you're gonna at some point realize how much value you have as a woman, how you needed to heal, and you will continue to heal because you've chosen now, right? You're out of the terrible things of the breakup, and we will forever love those people. Some of you might just hate them. That's very likely too. And it might be easier actually than loving somebody and knowing you just gotta get out. And some of you ladies might be a stay-at-home mom and you don't know how to get out because you're not the breadwinner, but you're taking care of everything at home and the kids and all the things. You're not getting a paycheck though. So find something. As a previous lender and as a woman and seeing other women that have been in situations where they can't get out because they can't afford it, you guys, don't let that happen to you. I've never had that. I've always had a good job and had my own business on the side as well. But there are so many women out there that don't have that income coming in or don't have a credit score. So take care of yourself first and foremost. And if it means getting in this book more, get in this book because there is strength in this book. There is courage. There is hope and peace. And you may never be able to leave a situation. I don't know your situation. I'm not going to tell you to go or stay. Only you know what to do. Only the people that I coach know what to do. And we don't talk about their personal situation. We talk about rising and getting up and moving forward and taking the action, and they're no longer in their depressed state when they come to me. We work through daily action to grow our faith, to change our mindset, to physically and mentally and emotionally and spiritually get more energy and active and engage in our own self-care so that we can rise like a phoenix and be stronger. Have a new life that we choose for our own self. Forgiveness, you guys, is so important. And don't let the toxicity and the hurt and the anger and the resentment or love that's actually turned into like, I didn't even know this person ever, like our whole life was fake. I mean, I've talked to so many women like that too. People fake things. It's sad. It's really sad. I don't know how you can fake a life, but it's done all the time. And forgiveness doesn't mean staying. I know I've said that like 1,200 times since I started this post, but you guys, it doesn't. Life is precious. You can't get time back. You cannot get time back. And it's scary if you do have to leave. It's really heartbreaking. You're going to cry a lot. You're not going to know what to do. You're going to be miserable. You're going to make bad choices for a while. You might start eating too much, drinking too much, crying on the couch too much, not giving a crap about anything. You're just trying to maintain. You're just trying to get by. And you can't even do that for a while. And that's fine for a while because sometimes that happens. But at some point you need to start crawling off that couch or off that ground, finding a way for yourself. And when you're ready, you'll find the help that you need. Talk to a pastor, talk to a counselor. And when you're ready, talk to somebody that can walk through it with you. If you need people that are neutral, find a coach. Find a coach that can not walk you through your pain because that's what your counselor is for, but your coach will help you take daily action, help you to be accountable to yourself, help put you on the path of things that you can do every single day in your life that will help to grow you as a woman, as a Christian, as a leader, As a mom, sometimes we get like, yeah, we don't want to leave because we have kids. I know it's a tough topic, but you deserve great things in your life. You deserve peace. You deserve hope and respect from people, of yourself. And it's going to be really hard to gain confidence and change your mindset to a good, positive mindset and to grow yourself when somebody else is weighing you down with that kind of garbage. It won't happen. It just won't. And I hate to be the one to break that to you, but I have a feeling you already know. We know in the situation. We know when we need to leave, but for different reasons we stay until we don't. And don't just leave for small things. Like, you guys, this culture is like not, it's crazy. People leave for the dumbest things. And if it's a short-term relationship or whatever, and you just started like hanging out with somebody, if you're a single woman or whatever, make it a short-term thing. If they do something stupid, walk away, whatever. You're not obligated to stay. If you know that this person isn't right for you, leave. But when it's somebody that you truly care for and love, it's a whole lot harder. And don't just leave for little things, multiple little things, because guess what? You're not perfect either. You probably leave your dirty clothes on the floor. You might cook the burgers too well when somebody wants them medium rare. I mean, we're not perfect. And that's where good relationships, they work together. They work to grow each other, and you want to help and you want to do things for that person, and you respect them and you love them. And if somebody is telling you that they love you and they're telling you that, and then the next minute you find out that there's hiding things behind your back, or they're hitting you or whatever, that's not love. That is not love, you guys. There's something sick in the head with that person. And they need help, probably. But until they want to change, until they seek their help, nothing will change. Nothing will. And they will continue to hide. So choose the people that you hang out with very, very carefully. And stay away from toxic situations. It can be done, and you can grow, and you find peace. And you know what? Someday, after a while, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, wow, I've really come a long way. I can't believe the hell that I went through and survived. For those of you who are physically being beaten down, but for those people that have been emotionally abuses on all different levels, it doesn't have to be name calling. It can be complete disrespect and betrayal and lies. That's emotional abuse. Like, it's messed up. And but you can come and you're going to look back and you're going to be like, damn, I have gotten so much stronger, and I have taken care of myself, and I've been intentional, and I'm growing my faith. And you have to make those choices. Otherwise, you're going to stay stuck. And you don't want that, right? You don't want to stay in a situation where you're stuck in your own head, you're stuck in your body, because if you're stuck in your head, nothing else is going to go right. You're going to be negative towards your kids. You're going to be spouty with your friends. You're not going to want to hang out with your friends. You maybe will dislike your job even more than you already do. Or maybe you liked your job and now you have all this negative, energy around you. And that's all you see then. It's just, so you have to continue to move forward. Grow. Do it. How? Reach out to somebody that can help. Just know that part of forgiving is forgiving yourself for whatever you know that you need to forgive yourself for, and forgiving the people that have hurt you so bad. And you will find out who your real friends are, even though they don't know the story, because let's just be honest, people that are hurting you intentionally and doing those things, they're not sharing what they're doing with their friends and their family to you. You'll never come to a place of joy or confidence or really give a crap until you step away from the things that are hurting you intentionally and beating you down. So have the forgiveness 70 times, 7 times. But nowhere in the Bible does it say that you're supposed to stay with somebody that is abusive or lying to you all the time and cheating. It actually says the opposite. There are a couple of reasons that you can leave. And there are boundaries that we have to set as women. What boundaries are you needing to set? Maybe it's things that you need to stop doing. Maybe it's a boundary with a friend that takes you down when you're together because they want to push their drugs or their alcohol on you and you don't want any interest in that. Choose wisely in who you spend your time with. There's not going to be peace if you're not spending time with people that bring you up, that are good to you, really good, not just fake good, but good. You know your people, and you will find out if you don't now. If you ever do leave or have to set a hard boundary, you'll find out who your people are. You're going to lose people that you love, a lot of people. If you walk away from a situation, you're going to lose the family, you're going to lose the kids, not your own kids, obviously, but like if you're a stepmom or a stepdad or whatever, you might lose those stepchildren and they're not, or the children of the boy that you're with for a long time. And you fall in love with everybody, right? You fall in love with the family, and you have to be ready for your own peace, and you'll never be ready. What is it worth for you to be a leader and a mentor for your mothers, for your daughters, for your future grandbabies? They don't want to see you in a bad place. They don't want to see you being hurt, and they're going to stand by you no matter what. They're going to tell you you're crazy at some point, like, why the hell are you still there? And they'll do the blame thing. Well, you're still there, you probably knew this would happen again. You're going to get that too. But that's another thing. We can forgive those comments because you don't tell somebody that's being abused or lied to or betrayed behind the scenes. You don't tell somebody, why did you stay? You ask the question, why did they do this to me? And you can ask that for a while. You're going to feel sorry for yourself or bad for yourself or in so much pain. But at some point, you just need to stop asking that question because it doesn't matter why. Because that's about them. It's not about you healing and moving forward. And that's where we need to be if we're in those really, really bad relationships or situations. Draw the line where you need to. Forgive all the time. Pray for that person. And that's going to be hard. You'll probably be in your shower crying, praying, and saying things like, I don't even want to pray for this person. They hurt me so freaking bad. They ruined my life. Took everything away from me that I love almost, except my own, family. Or maybe it is your family that they took away. I don't know your situation. You don't know the other women's situation, and you don't know mine, and that's totally okay. But we have to pray for those people because there might not be other people that are praying for them. And at some point, we need to stop praying as much for those people. Still throw out some prayers for them, but stop praying for them all the time. Because what you focus on and who you focus on is where your mind and your heart go. And you can't do that to yourself because then it just makes you want that person even more. So pray for them. Pray for the people that they hurt. Pray for the people that are hurting you. But pray for yourself for healing. God answers prayers. It's not going to be quick. Healing is very, it never stops. It's forever, lifelong. You'll never stop hurting because of what happened to you. You never will. Or because of how somebody treated you that was repetitive like that. You'll never heal completely from that. There will always be something that cracks in you someday. You'll hear something, you'll smell something, you'll drive by somewhere and you'll be like, oh, but all of those, you guys, Boundaries have to be set when that continues to happen. You can forgive and you can love unconditionally. I mean, we can love the person that has maliciously hurt us unconditionally, but it doesn't mean we stay. It doesn't mean we stay. Forgive if you choose to stay. Forgive and stay, and don't make it a point. Like, don't point fingers, but you guys need to work through the things together. And if you don't see that happening, if it's just you, listen to the taps. Hear the red flags, the pink flags, the yellow flags, the orange flags. They go off. You're hearing them. But as a Christian, sometimes we stay because we're committed, because we love someone, and we end up hurting ourselves and our family, because they see the pain that you go through. They see it. They're watching. And I don't mean that in a stalkery kind of way, but they're watching. They're seeing you allowing somebody to hurt you over and over, and you forgive, and they root you on, and they're like, okay, I don't know why you're doing this, but you really do have commitment, and there's just something, you're great about that, I don't know how you can forgive and just, stay. And that's where unconditional love, but when you know you need to go, you need to go. So, but when you need to stay, stay. And I hope and pray that everybody knows where they need to be. And if you don't, go talk to a counselor, talk to a pastor. You can talk a little bit with your friends, but you need a neutral person to help you through some really hard stuff if you've got really hard stuff going on. But God wants good things for you. It comes down to that. And you might not believe that at this time in your life. You might not believe it because you've been beaten down emotionally, or you've convinced yourself that they'll change and you believe that, and then they don't. And it just wears you down. And you don't even know you're down. You have no idea. No idea. But you'll look back and you'll see yourself. And if you have a daughter and if you have a granddaughter, you are being watched by those girls. And they're going to see you fall hardcore if they're old enough to, right? Your granddaughters, if you're my age, they're not going to. I have 3 granddaughters. The 8-year-old, she might. But the other 2, they wouldn't have a clue. But those older girls, preteens, teens, I mean, let's just be honest, 6 years old or older, they start seeing things and they start understanding. They don't understand, none of us do, but they start watching. They see it. And when they get to be in those double digits, they really see it. And they're gonna watch you fall down and get back up, crawl back up. They're gonna see you fall down again or get beat down. It's usually how it goes, right? Maybe it's not physical, like I said. It's gonna come through a text. It's gonna come through a messenger, something that's been hidden. It's gonna come through finding a bottle when it's been promised not. It's gonna come through whatever it comes through. Getting hit down, whatever. And they might actually see that, the physical action of it. They might see you receive the text when you're sitting there with them, and now you have to try to keep your composure, but you can't because your life just got rocked and completely changed. And now you have to shift. And sometimes that adrenaline gives you strength because your guard comes up and you know it's time. You'll know if it's time or when it's time. And your daughters and your granddaughters will be watching. And they'll see you rise and be stronger and fall down and crack and get back up and do it over and over until you start falling down less. And you will. You'll be able to start crawling after you fall down. Instead of just slithering along, you'll start to crawl, creep along. Pretty soon you'll be on your knees, getting up, and you'll walk real slow for a long time. And then a feeling will come up and it'll beat you down. Not from somebody else, but because of how you feel. And you'll be right back down on the ground. Emotionally, physically, whatever, on the couch, with the booze, with the pizza, with the tears streaming down your face uncontrollably. But you'll get back up. God promises you that He is there. You hear the saying all the time, God doesn't give you more than you can handle. And I 100% disagree with that. 100%. God absolutely gives you more than you can handle so that you reach out to Him and you find out that there's only one thing that gives you strength enough to get through it and to be able to handle it. Because some of the stuff that happens, He doesn't give to us. Choose the choice that people make. We're humans, right? We all make a choice. God doesn't get to choose if somebody hits you. God's not choosing if somebody is cheating and lying to you behind your back. God doesn't choose when somebody is emotionally beating you down. He's not choosing that. Those people are. So don't blame God for what happened to you. Could have He have protected you? Yep, He could have. But let me ask you this. Do you think He wasn't protecting you? When you find out and now you stand up and you have the strength to move on, do you think He's not protecting you? He wants good and great and amazing things for you as a daughter. And He's protecting you by you finding out truth of what's actually happened, or you can now stand because you are ready to get out if somebody physically is beating you down. And you're ready to move on. Guess what? That is God's protection. God's protection sometimes comes in the form of the most painful phone call you get, the most painful text you receive. Sometimes that's His protection. And we don't like it. We don't like it at all. I laugh because it's my way of, I've been hurt. You guys have been hurt. And without sharing my story, I'm not hiding everything about what I've been through, how I've gotten up from it, and what strength I have now. And I don't think that situation, I think this person right here, not for the situation, but for being there always, for giving me strength, for letting me cry when I needed to, for giving me a group of good women friends in the time that I needed them the most in my life. You guys, our community is huge. Who you're hanging out with is huge. Choose your friends wisely. If they're not challenging you, if they're not lifting you up, and if they're not godly Christian women, I mean, we can have women friends that aren't, right? I've got lots and lots of great friends that are not Christians, probably, or that aren't strong Christians, that don't have a relationship with Jesus. But having those Christian friends is huge, huge. And good friends. So you'll find that strength, and there is protection in the hard stuff that you find out, or that you see, or that you're finally done and you've set a hard boundary and now you're done. There's protection in that, because God does not want you to have that kind of a life. God doesn't want that for you. So he's protecting you by giving you the courage to stand up and walk away if you need to, or whatever you need to do. You know what you need to do. And if you don't, pray about it. Pray about what you need to do. I can't even believe that I'm sharing my faith the way that I have. I never used to, but it's grown stronger and stronger and stronger. I got emotionally beaten down years ago, probably 8 years now. I don't even know. It's been a long time. And when that happened to me for the first time, I couldn't move. I was completely depressed. But somehow, that's when my faith grew stronger. Because I had, and I don't mean this to sound like desperate, but when you have nothing, or you don't think you have anything because you just lost the most important things to you outside of your family, and the thing that carried the hope for your future, that changes you. It changes you. You're different. You're totally different. And when you're ready to get up, you start getting up, and you grow and you change and you do the things. And then when life beats you down again years later, because it's going to, people are people. Life isn't easy. As a Christian, God doesn't promise it to be easy. Not at all. It actually gets more challenging. Sorry to burst your bubbles, ladies. It actually does. But there's actually way more peace and joy in it, even with those challenges. You also gain so much. You gain wisdom, confidence, strength, faith, courage. I mean, I could go on and on with a big list of things that you gain when you figure out how to get up, because you have somebody holding you. And I'm talking about God. I'm not talking, don't go out and, like, if you're in a relationship, you know, and you broke up with your boyfriend, you broke up with your fiance, you left your husband, whatever the case, because of infidelity, abuse, lying pathologically. I'm not talking about that, but when you get up, I have no idea where my train of thought just went. I'll have to get back to that. There's real strength in it. You become so much stronger because the person that you have grown into because of getting knocked down and learning how to count on God for this strength to get you forward. Now you're stronger. You're more confident. You guys, it's amazing. Like it's probably going to be harder. You're going to have some hard stuff. But you know what? It's because you're growing. You're growing and you've become more confident. You've become stronger. You've become more tenacious. You have audacity. You have a voice. You get yourself back, except that you're even better. You become even a better person, a better woman. You become a better mother, auntie, cousin, relative, friend, coworker. You become better as a woman because you're walking that path with strength from God. And when I said before that you've got somebody's arms around you, I'm not talking about another person. If you've left your significant other or the person that you love because of some of the things that we're talking about today, if you've left them, the arms of another person is not your answer. I don't care if it's a while. Take care of yourself, you guys. Heal yourself before you go and try to get involved with somebody else, because it's not going to do anything. It's going to make you feel worse, probably, but cut that part out. But heal yourself, you guys. Find strength in what you love to do, joy and happiness in those things. So forgive 70 times, 7 times. Forgive like God forgives. But set a boundary where you need to set a boundary. Listen to what God is telling you to, or if you're not a Christian, and this is focused on Christian real hard today, right? If you're not a Christian and you believe it's the universe speaking to you, you believe that it's a spirit, whatever that is, listen. Listen and take action with what you're being told. That gut instinct, you guys know if it's right, if it's a good gut instinct and you feel peace, you know it's right. If it's a thought or a feeling that you have, but there's no peace, you know it's not right. You'll know when not to leave. And you will know if you should leave. And you'll know because you're listening to what God is telling you for your life. Not what a coach or a pastor or your sister or your mom or your dad or your relatives or even your daughters. Sorry, we love you, but you have to live your life for you so that you can be the best mother and grandmother and sister and relative and friend and all the things that I said before and all the other things, neighbors, everybody, for you. So that is everything today. I got longer winded than I definitely anticipated. I hope you walk in strength, and I hope that God provides you clarity for what it is that you need in your life. And I hope that He provides you people that you can walk alongside with to enjoy the journey, to have fun, to grow. And I hope that you find peace and gain the wisdom to know what you need to do. And you can do that as well by asking for it.